Alright, let's start here. This is a 2006 lr3 V6 engine. I know it's a little bit late, but I figured let me go ahead and save everyone else with my problem, that hassle of having to go through a headache. Alright, so here we have, this is right there at the tip where you disconnect the exhaust manifold. Now this is why I saw a video of somebody else changing their starter on the 2006 LR3. The difference is they had a V8 engine. I have a V6. So like everyone else, they're saying that on the passenger side, you'll take off the passenger wheel and then you'll go through taking out the starter. What happened with me is I took off the passenger wheel just to find that the positive terminal comes all the way over to the driver's side. So now, what I had to do, which I already did it, I had to take off the exhaust manifold. So it's a 13 millimeter, and I got a swivel. Pardon the light. I'm trying to show the tool here. Alright, so I got one of these little air tool swivel pieces. Sorry, camera in one hand, other hand I'm trying to maneuver. 13 millimeter. Got one of these with extensions, and they work like a charm. Now, let me get the light back adjusted. Okay. Here we go. Back to showing you. So, 13 millimeters. I had to spray some PB Blaster and let it sit for a little bit. So again, this is a V6 2006 LR3. So I took off the 6 screws, and then there's 2 connecting back here to this pipe. 2 bolts. Now, I'm just gonna give you a heads up. You're gonna want to get a blowtorch and heat that sucker up. That's the only way it's gonna work. I literally tried for like 5 hours to get this thing off, spraying it PB Blaster and turning it. Nothing. I snapped this side over here. Once I snapped that in half, then I just was hesitant to even go back and mess with it. But what I ended up doing was I ended up calling someone in the neighborhood. They came by, they had a torch. They were more confident than I was with torches, and heated that sucker up, and nope, the other side didn't come out. It snapped too. So I had to take the exhaust manifold to a local shop so they could go ahead and drill the rest of the screw out, so that way I could put my new screws in and then put the exhaust manifold back on. As far as where the starter is, I'm going in with the phone. Driver's side, by the way. That right there is the starter. And that's a 13 millimeter bolt at the bottom. No, right there. Sorry, bad placement. Let me get the camera angle adjusted. No, it's a tight fit. And I am fighting light here. But this is the new starter. Yeah, this is the view from under the tire. This is the view over the car. Now here we have it. Took the exhaust manifold off. See the O2 sensor right there. I even had to take, there was an enclosure right here. I had to take that piece off, and it was connected to these 2 lines. And then I had to disconnect this from right there to move these lines out of the way. And then, oh, there you go. That's the starter right there. Give me a second, I'll try and point. See if I get the right position on there, right? Bear with me. That's the starter. So literally coming in from where the brake lines would be in that compartment, looking over on the driver's side, with the exhaust manifold not being there, you clearly could see it. So to save anyone a headache, what you're gonna want to do is take off the exhaust manifold, take off the heat shield that sits right here, and I believe there's another one, and then get those bolts off, spray some PB Blaster and let it sit for a little bit. You don't want to strip anything. And then the two bolts that connect there, the two bolts that connect right there, you're gonna wanna heat those jokers up real good with a torch. And maybe you'll be luckier than me. You'll be able to get it off and reuse it. And also looking towards getting 2 new bolts when you take that out. That's what I had to do. And as far as putting it back in, once you take the old one out, pull it out from up top, put the new one in, position it. It's gonna be a 2-man job. You are definitely gonna need someone else to help you. And it should take you a couple hours. Fortunately for me, it took over a day, being that it was just me, myself, and I. And I went through going on the passenger side, taking everything apart, to finding out that I was in the wrong place. And what I ended up doing is taking this skid plate off, and then I looked under the car and looked up, and boom, there you go. So not only my oil pan and my oil filter, but the starter. And I felt like a complete idiot, but you live and you learn. Again, sorry for the lighting. I had to take this off, which goes up here. A couple of those pop-out pins. And let's see, did I miss anything? So, yeah, 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter, and you're gonna want some swivel joint ratchet sets, extensions, and a blowtorch. Now this video is for explaining what so far I have not been able to find on YouTube: how to remove a starter on a 2006 Land Rover lr3 V6 engine, not a V8, V6.